everybody. Sorry class is late this week, but I know some of you have been doing the class later in the week anyway, so hopefully it wasn't too much of an inconvenience for you. Hope you're all safe and well, and inside again unfortunately because the weather seems to have turned and be absolutely vile out there, so back inside today. So we'll just start with a quick warm up, so take the feet hip width apart. Just think about those feet sinking nicely down into your mat. And then just allow the shoulders just to drop down towards that waistband. So imagine you've got two little pockets on your shoulders and you're just sliding those shoulder blades into those pockets. Allow those arms just to hang nice and heavy. Just let the arms and the hands feel as if they're really, really heavy, so you don't feel like holding any tension through those shoulders. And we'll just start with some gentle head turns. So remember, keeping the shoulders nicely to the front. You don't want to allow the shoulders to follow. We'll do one more slowly to each side. And then back into the centre. And just take that head forward into a gentle stretch through the upper back, those shoulders. Again, make sure you're not allowing the shoulders to roll forwards as you do this one. Good. And then we'll just take the arms out, level with the shoulders, and then just reach back. Just really stretching off the front of the chest where you've got a little bit tight. Again, make sure those shoulders don't rise up, so keep them in those little pockets. And then we'll just bring the arms forward, just gently nod the head forward, just as if you're hugging a big tree trunk. And then head back up and opening through the chest again. And start now to think about that breath flow. So exhale as you take the arms around your tree trunk. Inhale as you're creating that more space around the front of your shoulders. And then one more. And again, open that chest. Good. And then just allow the arms just hang gently by your side again. And then just take the hands onto the hips. Make sure those knees are nice and soft. And we're just going to come round in that pelvic circle. So try and really keep your circle shape nice and even. If you've got a little bit that's a little bit more sticky, just dwell on that little bit. Just a bit longer, just so you're not cheating and going past all the tight bits. And then we'll have a change of direction again. Remember, nice and soft through the knees. You want to be keeping the feet on the floor, but allowing those ankles just to gently move. So you're just creating that nice movement through that lower part of the body. And back into the centre again. And then we just come into some heel raises. Just try and distribute that weight nice and evenly through the front parts of the feet as you're coming up onto your toes. Good. And both feet back down. Okay. So we'll come on to your roll downs now before we come down onto the mat. So you're going to inhale to prepare. As you exhale, just curl the chin down towards the chest. Just unstack that spine, one vertebrae at a time, nice and soft with the knees. So try not to hyperextend those knees and push them out behind you. Same thing with that tailbone, keep it nicely underneath you, don't push it out behind you. Again, inhale, exhale, Unstep that spine, one vertebra at a time. So we're going to do 3 in total. Really focus on keeping the arms heavy. As you get to the bottom, give those arms a circle or a figure of 8. Just get them nice and loose in those shoulders. And then inhale, exhale. Restack that spine. Last one. So really focusing on that movement. Make sure that tailbone doesn't stick out behind you. So it's more about your sequence of movement through that spine than it is how far down you can get. So really try and visualise the spine. You're just peeling one little bone off the other bone and then replacing as you come back up into your standing position. Good. Okay, so we'll pop down onto the mat now and we'll come onto your back in your rest position. So think about those feet being hip width apart. So remember, take your feet together. You can kick out the toes and kick out the heels, or vice versa. You can kick your heels out and then kick the toes out to match. So think about that straight line through your foot, your knee, and your hip. And then we'll just start to focus on your pelvic position. So remember, we want to be in a neutral position, so you're just going to gently tilt that pelvis up towards your head and then gently down towards those feet. So just creating that movement just by mobilising that pelvis, so no pushing down through the feet to create that movement. And just make your movement a little smaller and smaller each time. Just until you come to rest somewhere in the centre, somewhere that's comfortable for you, so don't push yourself into an unnatural position. Some people have got a little bit more of an arch through the lower back, and some people a little bit straighter through that lower back. So everybody's neutral pelvis will vary. So as I say, don't push yourself into an unnatural position. So you want to try and achieve that position through your exercises. So we're not coming into either of these positions. We want to just stay in that nice neutral position. And then we'll just think about just walking those shoulders down the mat, just putting them back into those little pockets in your shoulder blades. And then we're going to just take the arms around in some big circles over the head. So even for these fairly easy movements, making sure that you're able to maintain that lower back and pelvic position. So as you take your arms up over your head, what will want to happen is that your hips will want to tilt down towards the knees. So stay in that neutral position. That's where you start to just wake up those core muscles. So just drawing back the tummy button, just about 30% of your maximum effort. So you don't want to be drawing back so far that you can't breathe. And as you're doing this, try and focus on keeping the shoulder blades where they are. So as you're taking the arms over the head, you're not sliding those shoulder blades up the mat. You're staying firmly in those pockets. And then we'll have a change of direction. Again, just really focusing on that breathing, that alignment, and that core. So think about it as your ABCs. You've got your alignment, your breathing, and your core or your centre, whichever you want to prefer to call it. And then we'll do one more big circle. So making sure that those shoulders stay nice and stable down that mat. You're just going to take the lower body just into some hip rolls. If you find your opposite shoulder lift, you can take your arms out into your T shape. And you can take your head in the opposite direction. So as you drop your knees to the left, take your head over to the right and vice versa. And then you can just hold in that position for a couple of seconds just to let all those muscles stretch. And then starting to wake up those core muscles now. So you're going to just imagine you're drawing that hip up towards your opposite rib, so the diagonal rib. So we're just starting to get those core muscles, those abdominal muscles woken up. We'll just do one more to the other side. Good. Okay, so we'll just draw your knees now up into that tabletop position, one at a time. And then we'll take those arms up towards the ceiling. And we're going to come into your dead bugs. So you can either keep your knee bent and bring the toe towards the mat. If you're doing that, make sure you're not just bringing your toe towards your bum. So you're keeping the angle the same and you're just bringing that toe down. Or if you prefer, you can come into a straight leg position. Whichever position you're coming into, making sure that that core stays nice and stable. Okay, so continue with those for a second. I'm just going to open the window while you're carrying on with those. It's actually really humid in here. So remember, keeping that nice neutral position. So we don't want any arching of that back. So really draw the tummy button back. Come into, importantly, that you come into a still position in between your two movements. So again, you just put in that little bit more and a little bit more work on that core. Okay, we're going to do one more to each side. And hook those knees up towards the chest. Give that back a little bit of a massage. Good. Okay. So we're going to just take your legs into, I'm going to give you two different positions for this exercise. So first position, you're going to take one leg staying in your rest pose, in bent position. You're going to take your opposite leg nice and straight. Keeping that pelvis in that neutral position. We're going to inhale to prepare. As you exhale, really focus on keeping neutral, and we're going to bring that leg up. And then slowly taking it down without losing that position. Also, as you're doing this, make sure that your opposite hip doesn't lift. So knee stays in line with that hip, and this opposite hip stays down onto that mat. So it's quite a good aid just to have your fingers just near to your onto your hip bones and just feel what's happening. You can also just, if you slide your fingers across the hip bones into the centre, you'll just feel those abdominal muscles start to work, those deep abdominal muscles. So you'll feel them just moving underneath your fingers. So think about that breath flow. Be moving slowly. We're going to do 4 more. So breathe, thinking about that nice alignment, so thinking about your A, so you're not twisting the hip, you're not coming out of that neutral position. Good. Last one. And lower. Okay, so same again, so you can either have leg bent, you can have your leg straight, and then going to come into that exercise again. So again, make sure you're in that neutral position, make sure your hips are level, you haven't got one that's coming higher up towards the ceiling. Inhale to prepare. If you want to, you can slide in, just feel those deep abdominal muscles working. And think about that breath flow, making sure that this knee stays in line with your foot. So focus on that breath, draw back the tummy button. Just make sure your opposite glute isn't switching on and gripping. So really thinking about that positioning now. Good. Focus on that feel underneath those fingers. Feeling those deep abdominal muscles working to hold you in that position. We're going to do 4 more. Last 2. Don't lose that position. Last 1. Finish. Good. Slide your knees back up into your bent position, and then you can just come into a little bit of a hug with those knees. Just give that little lower back a nice massage. Good. Okay. So we'll just come on to another exercise. It's going to challenge that core stability. It's also going to challenge your control, and it's going to work that hip a little more. So again, your supporting leg can either be bent or it can be straight. I'm going to come into your single leg circle. So again, make sure the tummy button's tucked back. If you prefer your leg bent, just give you a little bit more stability. You're going to take your other leg into a bent position, and you're coming round into your single leg circle. So, as I say, if you want to have your other leg straight, you can. But really focus, if your leg is straight, again, you can just use your fingers as a little bit of a guide to make sure that that hip is starting to lift. Draw back the tummy button. Breathe. So try and time your breath with a circle. Do 2 more. And then we'll swap to your other direction. So again, making sure that tummy button stays drawn back. Trying to think about a nice, even feel. Remember, if you want to have your leg bent, you can. You might not just be able to make quite as much of a big circle, but that's fine. Keep that knee still, so as you're taking your leg into your circle, you're not rolling about that knee. So we'll do 3 more. Draw back the tummy. stretch that leg away. Just give that hip a little bit of a rest. And then we'll swap onto your other leg. So whichever position you prefer, so you can have that leg bent, come into your circle, but remember, keep that leg still, so you'll have to reduce the size of your circle, or if you prefer, you can have that leg straight. If you want to have a little check on those hips, make sure that they're behaving themselves, they're not lifting or either lifting up towards the hip or lifting up towards the ceiling. So you want to stay in that neutral position. Time your breath. So inhale for one circle and exhale for one circle. I'm going to do 2 more. Quick rest, quick breather, and change direction. Inhale for a circle, exhale for a circle. Whichever leg position, remember, making sure that that hip stays where you put it, so it's not lifting as you're circling. We'll do 4 more. Last one. Good, and bring the leg up, or give it a stretch, whichever you want, just to give that hip a stretch. And then take the legs straight, take the arms up over the head, just come into that full body stretch. Just taking some breaths. So even as you're in your body stretch, make sure that you're not doming those abs up towards the ceiling. So you want to be again, nice and neutral with that pelvis. So making sure those hips aren't tilting away down towards those feet. Okay, so we're going to take your this position now up into your double leg stretch. So take the arms over the head, and you're going to come into small sit-up position, and you're going to have the legs up towards the chest. So we're going to take the arms in a circle over the head, and the legs extended, and then coming back in again. So inhale, exhale, inhale. Again, inhale to prepare, exhale, legs away, inhale. Good. Inhale, exhale, the legs away. Back in again. We're going to do 3 more. Good, keep neutral. Inhale, exhale. And last one. Good, bring those knees up towards the chest. Have a little roll around. Okay, so we're going to finish off with your shoulder bridge, and we're going to just have a little play with your diagonal balance on this. So we're going to keep feet hip width apart. You're going to again think about your sequence of movement through that spine. So we're going to inhale to prepare. As you exhale, you're going to lift, hold back, one vertebra at a time, and then as you lose your arm support. And then we're coming back down again. So again, really focusing on where your hips are. So don't allow either glute muscle to switch off. And then come back down, one vertebra at a time. And again, inhale, exhale, lift that whole back. Have a little touch on your hips, make sure that they're level. And we'll take one arm up over the head, back down again. Keep those hips level, don't allow either side to drop. And place. And again, inhale to prepare. Lift that spine one vertebra at a time. Keep these switched on. So keep those glute muscles working. Try not to allow your hamstrings to take too much stress. If they do, you can just imagine you've got something between your knees, so you can just take the attention onto the inner thigh a little. Replace and in control, so you've got control until each little bit of that spine is on the mat. Okay, I'm going to do one more to finish off. So inhale, curl those hips up towards the head. Have a little check on the hips, make sure they're level. And then take the arm over the head, nice and slowly with that air, the dropping of that hip. And again. Replace that spine. Good. Okay, so we'll just come over onto our hands and knees, just give that back a little stretch. So into your cat position. So just bring the back gently up towards the ceiling, and then just gently dropping the back down. So think about the angle of your hip opening and closing as you're coming into this exercise. So you're not pushing the head back too far, just gently taking it back as far as it's comfortable as you drop the tummy down. Okay, and then we just push back into that child's pose. Good. Okay. So we'll come down onto our fronts now. Take a moment just to settle yourself down on your front. Just try and make sure the feet are nice and switched off. You can have your hands on top of each other and have your forehead on your hands if you're comfortable doing that. And just really focus on how your body feels down on that mat. So just check the feet are switched off. And we'll start to just start to wake up those abdominal muscles now, those core muscles and those muscles in the back that are going to protect your lower back. So just imagine you've got a pin coming through the mat and you're just drawing that tummy button up gently away, just to start waking up and switching on just all these muscles around here, just to look after your lower back through these exercises. Okay, so we're going to bend one knee, and we're just going to lift that leg up towards the ceiling and then back down again. So again, we're not doing it by bringing the foot up towards the bum. You're doing it by taking the foot up towards the ceiling, so trying to keep that angle the same if you can behind that knee as you're lifting. So tummy button tucked away, inhale, exhale, lift. Don't allow that tummy to drop down, that back to come into a hollow. You want to keep tummy button tucked away, especially as you lift, and try not to create that lift by pushing your other leg down into the mat. It's got to come from this glute muscle. So tuck the tummy button away. Don't push that other leg down into the mat, and don't cheat by closing your knee up towards your buttock. So inhale, exhale. So you might be able to find that you get a little more lift each time as you get that technique better. So think about the glute working up. You start to feel that working a bit more as you start to move more correctly. Tuck the tummy button. Then do 2 more. So really take your time and make sure you've got everything firing up as it should be before you go into your movement. Much more beneficial to do that than it is to move quickly and not giving everything chance to fire up. Can't remember what it's at today. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing on your other leg. So again, just have a little feel of drawing that tummy button away from that mat. Make sure this leg's not getting involved in helping. And when you're ready, tuck that tummy button away from the mat, engage and lift. Good. Remember, don't cheat and draw your your foot up towards your bum, so you're not doing that. Keeping that same angle between your calf and your thigh. And again, what you don't want to do is roll through your pelvis, so the pelvis wants to stay level. No pushing through this leg either. So really trying to isolate that movement onto one part of the body. Good. So no cheating, no pushing that other leg down to create that movement. Okay, we're going to do 2 more. Engage. Level that pelvis, engage, and off we go. Good. Okay, so give that the legs a straighten. Just give those glutes a little bit of a rest for a second. And then we're going to come into a nice long position through that spine. If you feel that find this one too much, I'm going to break it down for you. So I'm going to show you the full exercise, and then just be mindful of your lower back, and if you're feeling any pain or discomfort, we'll drop it down. Okay, so the full exercise. So you're going to really think about those hands and those feet being as far away from each other as possible, so you're nice and long through that spine. Then to inhale to prepare, as you exhale, the arms and legs are going to lift. So for this one, you really need to focus on engaging through the centre. If you don't, you'll just hollow through that lower back, and you'll find that you'll create a lot of discomfort there. So hands and feet walked away from each other. You want your feet probably about hip width apart for this one. Going to inhale, engage, and lift and reach away. If you're finding that one okay, carry on with that. If you're finding that's too much, we're going to put your arms back underneath the head, forehead onto the hand, sorry, and we're going to engage, and we're just going to lift from the lower part of the body. And again, you're not lifting by bending your legs, you're keeping your legs straight and your glutes are doing the work for this. If you're still finding that's too much of a challenge, reduce your movement down. So you can just come into small movement. So you can either have your full exercise or just that small movement. Okay, so we're going to do a couple more of those. The last one. And rest. Good. Okay, so just going to push back up into that child's pose. Give that back a little bit of a stretch, a little bit of a, put it into a bit of flexion. Now I've got a little bit of extension, so just flex it into the opposite direction now. You can either have the arms in front of you, or if you prefer, just head gently onto the mat and just hands round to your feet. Just take a few breaths. Good, and then just slowly come back into your seated position. Okay, so we're going to make our way over onto our side now. So just want to think about making sure you can see your feet in front of you as you look down. So you want to be in a very slight banana shape. And then hip nicely stacked. So you don't want that hip creeping up towards your ribs. You want to keep your hips nicely stacked. Imagine that top hips just being drawn up towards the ceiling. It's just drawing that underneath the waist off the mat. Okay, so we're going to stay in that position down to your hips. And you're just going to bend your feet up towards your bum, so you're in your clam position. Don't allow yourself to come backwards or forwards. Okay, so we're going to come into your Highland clam. So you're going to open, put that clam, and then you're going to tap in front, tap behind, and back onto your foot, and then back down. What we don't want to see is that you're tapping and you're rolling. We want to see that hip stays where it is. Tap, tap. And part of the trick is trying to get your foot back into the same starting position. So holding. Okay, if you feel okay, you can just take your arm up towards that ceiling. Tummy button tucked back. So no wobbling forwards or backwards. So really tuck back with the tummy button. Good. Okay, we're going to do 3 more. Really stable through the centre. Again, move slowly. The more slowly you move, the more benefit you're going to get. Okay, I've lost count now, so we'll do 1 more after this one. I think I might have snuck an extra one in there, but and last one. No tilting forwards and backwards, remember. Good. Okay. So we're going to come now into your reverse clam. So we're going to take your feet slightly off the floor, just slightly, and then instead of opening that way, you're going to open the feet. So again, You're not going to roll backwards and forwards. Again, so this one's quite a small movement. So it's quite heavy on your glute muscle. So it's impossible to make this a huge movement. You might start to get a little bit of a burn. Make sure that you don't start to roll forwards and backwards. Again, if you want to take your hand up, you can. And do 3 more. Good, last one. And legs straight, just give that glute a little bit of a rest and a rub. And then we're going to come into your double leg lift or torpedo, whichever you want to call it. So I'm going to show you 2 different levels for this one. So we're working underneath leg for this exercise. So you've got to try and switch off your upper leg. So you can either have your hand in front of you, just to help with that balance a little bit. If you need to have your hand there, please put it there because it will help you to stay in the correct position. Whereas if you think, oh, I'm not doing it properly, if I need my hand there, you will do your exercise in the wrong position and it will just be, it won't be anywhere near as effective. So just work within your own level. So you can either have the hand there and we're lifting the top leg, the underneath leg. Okay, you can have your hand up there, or if you prefer, you can have your hand over the top of the head, so into your full torpedo. So you can either have your hand there, have your hand there, or you can have your hand in your full torpedo position. So really focus on keeping tummy button tucked back for this one and keeping the hip nicely stacked above your opposite hip. Okay, we're going to do 3 more. So focus on that underneath leg, not the top leg. Top leg should be switched off. Good, last one. And rest. Good. Okay. So we'll just swap onto our other side, just have a little cat stretch on your way over. And then we'll swap onto the other side. So some of these exercises you might find really easy on one side, not so easy on the other side, which is completely normal. We're all a little bit one-sided. And you might find on one side you're really balanced with your hand up or your hand on your along your body, and the other side you might need to steady yourself with your hand in front of you. Absolutely fine, whichever works on that particular exercise. So just have a look down, make sure your toes are visible in front of you, so you're starting off in the correct position. Hip nicely stacked along above your lower hip. And if you find it uncomfortable with your arm outstretched underneath you, try not to scrunch yourself up and hold your head. If you've got a pillow at home, have a pillow there and just put your arm out in front of you. If you're scrunching up like that, you're going to spoil that alignment. Okay, so bring the feet up towards your bum, and then take your hand into whichever position you want it in, and we'll come into your Highland clap. So
So for this one, really make sure that you're trying to keep the focus on where your foot is, because it's harder than it looks to bring your foot back onto exactly the same position. So you might find as you close your foot again, or as you bring your foot back to your start position, that it doesn't land where you expect it to land. So move slowly and try. It's quite good for your proprioception, so where your body is in space, basically, or where you feel your body is isn't necessarily always where it's going, where it is. But don't allow yourself to roll backwards and forwards in this one. Tummy button tucked to keep you still. Okay, we're going to do 3 more. Draw that tummy button back to about 30% of your effort. And last one. Good. Okay, just give yourself a little rub on your hip if you've got a little bit of burn going on there. We'll move on to your next one. So we're going to come into your reverse clam now. So again, pick your hand position or your arm position. Lift your foot very slightly off the mat, your underneath foot, and then we're coming into your reverse clam. So focus on that hip, make sure that you're not rolling forward and cheating. If you roll forward, you're cheating, so you might need to just reduce your movement a little. As I say, it's only a small movement, this one. Quite heavy on the hip, but it's not a massive movement. And try and make sure that you're taking your top foot down to your lower foot, not that your lower foot is coming up to meet your upper foot. So everything else remains still. And do 3 more. Have a little check on that hip, make sure it's not rolling forwards. Last one. And give that hip a bit of a rub, and you can straighten those legs now. Okay, so we're going to come on to your double leg lift. So just make sure you can see your toes in front of you. If you take your legs completely in line with your body, it's really difficult to be able to balance. So just want those toes out in front of you, hip nicely stacked, and then picking your hand position. So you're either in that position, or in your torpedo. So really focus on that underneath leg doing that work. Draw back with the tummy button. Breathe. If you find you're wobbling around, pop that hand down. Okay, we're going to do 3 more underneath leg doing the work. Okay, last one. And rest there. Good, just give yourself a bit of a rub on the old hip. Okay, so we're just going to pop forward onto our front again. We're just going to stretch off the front of those legs. So stretching off your quad muscles, the muscles at the front of the thigh. So we're just going to bring that foot up towards your bum. You should be feeling a stretch now through the front of the upper part of your leg. Again, just work within your own bodies. Don't feel like you're in absolute agony. You should feel slight discomfort in your stretches, but not anything too horrendous. And let's have a swap into your other leg. So again, just work within your own body. And gently release. Okay, so we're just going to have a stretch at the front of those hips. So just come into your kneeling position. Have a check that your knee and your foot realise that you're not cheating by swinging out your foot. And then just gently tilt that pelvis, so you just feel as if you just curve the hips up towards the head. That might be enough of a stretch for your the front of your hip. If it is, just stick with that. If not, you can just take the weight forward a little. Just hold nice and still through that stretch. No bounce in the stretch, just gently hold and release. Okay, just check that you're not twisting that back foot, and then you can just tilt the pelvis. That might be enough for your stretch. Hold it if it is. If not, you can just take the weight forward a little bit. Just feel that stretch through that front of that thigh. Just breathe through the stretch. Hold a nice still stretch. Just come back onto the knees, just into your cat position. So we're just going to tuck those toes underneath. We're just going to come into a nice hamstring stretch. So tuck those toes under and just push up. We're just going to walk the hands towards the feet. So just see if you can get those legs straight. Just hold. To just reset that spine nice and slowly back up into that standing position. Just take the hands into your prayer position, up towards the ceiling. Keep that tailbone tucked, don't push it out behind you, and then you can stretch up into a little backward stretch. Don't hollow that lower back. Good. And then take the hands out in front of you, clasp, and just push the arms away, drop the head gently forward. And relax. Good. Okay, so I hope you all enjoyed class today, and look forward to seeing you all virtually again next week. It doesn't look like it might be that long before we end up back in class if it's possible to social distance, but we'll wait for further guidance on that. But meanwhile, I shall see you probably next week virtually again. Have a good week, everybody. Bye.